To pray, there's no angels where I go. Only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kira Show here. Now, whenever we last left off, Deku, he had just talked to this mystery girl and upgraded her computers. Basically, if you guys have seen the last parts, and sometimes I feel like calling these episodes, but I'm just gonna stick to part, but anyways. Deku, whenever he was looking through the computers and had that advanced Quark tech put on his head, he was able to at least read things off and mess with them. The goggles he took anyways. The mummy knew that these would be at least a bit better, or even possibly upgrade them. They carried the code for what Deku hacked into, and along with better ways to hack into things. Mummy implements these later on into Deku's design. That is why he was able to transfer the code over, basically making this mystery girl's tech jump leaps and bounds. Now then, an entire week has passed. Deku actually staying off his feet, listening to what the doctor said. Usually whenever he hurts something or breaks something, he listens. Because, well, the last time, it wasn't fun. No. Eventually today, he would make a phone call, sliding out of bed, as he would walk over to his computer. He would turn the phone on his speaker mode as he goes over exactly what's going to happen.
Hello. Anyways, I'm guessing you all know who I am. Or at least, our little blonde friend here does. So, I'm going to be going over everything you will need to know about tonight. Or, yeah, let's do this tonight. So, as you know, I'm the architect. Many of you, I believe, have heard of me. I think you might be the ones who actually saw me for the first time. I know there's at least a picture somewhere. Something survived. On paper.
Now, this is whenever the blonde girl would just jump out of her chair and freak out, along with everyone else in her voice chat, or at least her call, being a bit surprised. Someone actually saying that he's not even supposed to be able to do that. You can't just hack into all of our computers that easily. Deku reassuring them by saying, actually, it didn't take him too long. Just about 3 seconds. Them all being a bit shocked. That wasn't supposed to happen, especially because they encrypted this network. So finding it and doing it just like that was a bit tricky. Now, this is whenever Deku will quite simply just say,
Now, to get down to business. So, where do I begin? There's a good place to start. Listen, as all of you know, the corporation is shitty. It has its fingers in its the entire city in its entire grasp, putting pressure on it as if it were just throwing you to the ground and keeping you there. I plan on changing that. The heroes ignore it because, well, they can just pay to get away with it. They can pay off the cops and pay off some heroes. The ones they can't pay off, they kill. All Might being an exception. So far, I've come across no instance of All Might being paid off. In all of his hero career. Now, along with that, I do believe our blonde little friend here, I do owe a thank you for at least helping me and making sure to cover my tracks. I got sloppy. Or, well, a little sloppy, but that won't ever happen again. Now.
The blonde girl, she would just be a bit more, well, surprised. Actually beginning to fangirl. Along with everyone else just asking more questions. Who is he? What's his real name? And what does he even look like? Deku actually looking into the background of one person's screen. Him pointing something out as he zooms in. He would just say that everything on that board is incorrect about him. The person turning around and immediately just looking at it. Getting up and wheeling it off screen. Saying that, well, that's about a year's worth of time wasted. So, exactly why are you here then? You said something about tonight. I'm guessing that we're taking them down then. Do you at least have a bit of a plan or even a way to do this? Because, well, from what I've heard or at least seen, you don't have super strength, you don't have super speed, and you sure as shit don't have, well, reality bending capabilities. That's been one theory floating around about you. You want something done, you just make it happen. So, how are we going to do this?
Well, it's quite simple. Tonight, the factory is receiving a bit of a security upgrade. Automatic robots. Quite the bad idea. They think that their little drones will stop me. They think that their whole latest software may actually be useful. But I'll be able just to get through it easily. Now, with that, we also do need to worry about heroes and pros, along with possible gangs trying to get in too. From hacking into their servers, I found multiple incident reports. Gangs like to hang around this area, and well, it sometimes gets messy. But they have a good cleaner. Now, as for what we're doing, I want you all to meet me at this address. This time. Where would you need to, I will provide gear. Along with you, blonde girl. You need to send the code to all of your friends. Now, actually, I can do that.
Now, Deku, he would basically just bring his hand up, as he turns it. A little bit. Everyone's computer is somewhat freezing for a second, as a massive code begins to pop up. Everywhere along their screen. Them all being shocked as it full screens Deku. Them just watching him sit there in his mask, as he just moves his hands around. As their computers would turn off for a second, and turn back on. The screen hasn't changed, but they notice that something's a bit odd about it. It's running a bit faster. All others are. People beginning to talk more and more and more. Deku actually sending out a bit of a private message to this blonde girl, asking her to come about an hour early, so that he can at least properly evaluate everyone's abilities and get them in the right places. Now, the blonde girl, she would be stoked. She is going to get to work with her idol. Not a lot of people do that. In fact, very few pros get to do that with their own, well, personal heroes. But this is new. In fact, she's actually freaking out. She's never done something like this before. Hell, the worst things her parents have ever let her done are very few in between. Usually, she just stays home, She doesn't really have a lot of friends. Only the one she met here, and ever since she saw him, she's been a bit obsessed. Now, back over with Deku. Deku would walk into his next room as he turns on the lights. Walls upon walls of guns and a workbench, along with Deku having his own ballistic armor, basically a bulletproof vest, something he doesn't often wear. But this is going to be a bit more serious, so he's going to have to go for a bit more of a heavy style. He doesn't like doing it sometimes, but it'll be needed. Along with him beginning to fill up bags and load them into a car. He would load them into a four-door as he would get ready, driving away and hacking into this warehouse. He would get things set up, as he has the weapons displayed, or at least set onto a table, along with a small warehouse being on the other side of town, too far away from his actual hideout. Eventually the blonde girl would arrive, her in a hoodie and a mask. So, this will be a bit tricky. How is she exactly supposed to, as this pathway, or well, the door would open, her going through the pathway, and it closing behind her. Her watching as the entire warehouse is dark, and a light would come on. Deku just staying there as he looks up, saying it's nice of her to arrive.
Nice of you to arrive. So, I'm at least suggesting you have their files, actually. Or at least will give me information. So, let's get this over with. Then I can find the proper places to put everyone into. And your friends may have a high chance of surviving this.
Now, this isn't over the blonde girl. She would be a bit flustered. She's actually more intimidated than, well, scared. She would just grab her backpack and throw it to the ground, pulling out her laptop and setting it down as she begins to open things up. She would pull out a hard drive as she plugs it in and opens it. Deku walking over and looking at all this, beginning to just put his hand on the computer and go through her files, finding what he can. One of these guys' quirk is, well, bendy fingers, or he's able to at least bend things. At least stick his fingers together. He can bend certain parts of his body, and, well, it's a bit of a weird quirk, but it should be useful. Along with one girl actually having a bit of a problem with hers. Her quirk is only usable at a certain time. Basically, whenever it's around a full moon or close by, she can take on the aspects of a werewolf. Her quirk called Wolf, as a nickname. So, that's at least good. Tonight will be close to a full moon, so she'll have some power. As Deku goes over her for a bit. Her name isn't important, but her style of fighting will at least be good for one of the weapons he has. Now, Deku would go over the other 5, along with a file she made about herself. Now, I won't get into their quirks, but everyone does at least have one, along with one guy at least being quirkless. That is how he found this friends group. Along with Deku going over this blonde, clicking on her file, and actually reading quite a lot about her. Her file seems to be a bit more detailed than the others, as he would just turn to her, asking, "What is this?" Her being a bit confused. She hasn't really showed him anything yet, until she would stand up and see that Deku is touching the computer, as she would just ask what he's doing. Him saying that he's already gone through most of their files. The wolf girl and the, well, elongated man. So, what about you? Your file's a bit more detailed, along with your little picture being a bit odd. Exactly why? Why is it this way? I'm guessing you wrote these down. Well, actually, not really. I'm sorry to say this, but I kinda talked to my friends. I told them that we needed information on them. I didn't want to lie to them, so I'm sorry. But I also did need them to talk to me. The guy who's quirkless, people already know about that. In fact, he is kind of proud of it. He thinks that at least he can try and do some good in the background. But my file, as she would somewhat turn the computer on, Deku just bending down, reading it. Name, don't care. Eyes blue, hair blonde, quirk. Invisibility. Deku looking up. Exactly what is this? Well, as she would pull off a wig. Deku being a bit in shock. The top of her head is clearly missing. Him asking her if she's okay. Her saying that she'll be fine. In fact, her parents, they kind of just, what's the best way of saying this? My parents, they kind of don't know I do this sometimes. I mean, they've caught me doing it before, but my mom doesn't really care. Or, well, she kind of is concerned, but my dad, he thinks that this is at least a good way to get some people's attention sometimes. I usually only do this in my free time, though. I'm actually kind of proud of my quirk. Deku just staring at her, as he asks exactly what does she mean. Her just, well, pouring water in her face, and rinsing off with the towel she has in her bag. Deku watching her virtually disappear, along with her rolling up her sleeves. He can only see her hands, but everything around her begins to disappear. Her saying that her body is completely invisible. So, well, she's not sure how useful this may be. It's not a physical strength quirk like her friends, or, well, even anything flashy. But that's why I kind of like your idea, your style. You don't do anything for recognition, you don't do it for anything really. You do it kind of just to be there. You're seen but unseen. You're virtually invisible. Her just waving her hand up. Deku can't see the expression on her face, but he's clearly guessing it's something of, well, shock and awe. Asking at least how she does it. Her saying that she's always dreamed of being a makeup artist, but being a hero is a personal dream. A lot of people don't really think she can do it, so she kind of wanted to take the entrance exam. Alright. Well, you can take the entrance exam, I don't care. What? Yeah, I don't care. You can still be a hero even before you take down or get that stupid license. Take down the corporation, you'll be a hero to many people. People who go unseen. Don't you get it? Deku taking off his mask, telling her that if she can do this, she will personally do something no one has done before in Yue. Solve a crime before it happens. Multiple, in fact. Prevent many lives from being taken or even stolen. In fact, I think we have the perfect gear for you. Deku, using his quirk. More lights would turn on in the warehouse, her being in shock. Looking at a table full of weapons. Deku clearly had things planned, along with being a bit of a heavy weapons expert. A lot of these guns look like they're from the 21st century, or even the 20th. An M42 rotary grenade launcher, an RPG, where the fuck did that come from? Assault rifles, knives, crossbows, and hand grenades. Along with a few daggers and... is that a sword? Now, Deku, he would just say it is. But he's also got another surprise. Another light turning on. Deku walking over. Showing a bit of a odd project. There are multiple of these little things on the table. Her being confused. Deku putting his on. As he would say that this is how you do it. Putting it on like a belt, along with fashioning a harness underneath his legs, or well, around his thighs. And he would just say that these are personal. He doesn't believe anyone else in the world has his tech. In fact, the only other guy would be some weird merc in a mask. He is not sure where that guy is now. Last thing I remember is putting a bullet in his head. Yeah. That guy was fucking weird. Now, he tried hacking me. Big mistake. He tried killing me. Or, I think, capturing me. Don't remember who hired him. Found these blueprints on him. Now, this is whenever Deku would just turn it on, showing her exactly what it does, boosting forward and actually upwards into the air. Her being in shock. As Deku would move forward, showing her the capabilities of this tech. It's amazing. As she would try one out, she would dash forward and fall forward into her face. As the two continue, Deku, he would eventually have people arrive. As Toru, so glad I can finally say her name, because it's been annoying trying to memorize what to say and what not to say. She would just have her friends walk forwards. And, well, be a bit in shock. They would see him, standing there with a mask on top of the railing, about a couple of floors above them, or at least 1 or 2 stories above them. Deku welcoming them. Now, I think you all know why you're here tonight. I'm quite aware of some of your quirks. In fact, I've got some personalized weapons for you, some of you. They may not be a bit to your liking, but hey, if you need them, take them. Now, along with that, as Deku would just jump off the railing, people thinking that he's gonna smash into the ground, until the booster on his back would slow his descent, and he would land as if he just stood off of a chair. Deku saying that he's got a bit more sweet tech. Now, as he would just wave his hand, the lights turning back on. He wanted to have a dramatic reveal, and a lot of people were in shock by it. Deku showing off more tech. All 8 of them are surprised, along with everyone someone just running over, picking some of this stuff up and actually thinking that it's really, really cool. Now, this is whenever another blonde girl, she would be holding a knife. Others are holding rifles and guns, and she's a bit more intrigued by the knife, along with actually taking a bit more of time. She's picking out quite a lot of throwing weapons, along with taking the crossbows. While the wolf girl, or the werewolf, she takes a pair of specialized claws, attached to brass knuckles. Others are going for firearms, and even one guy just keeps grabbing M32s. Deku having to actually tell him to put some of those down. They're not toys. In fact, all those weapons are actually loaded. Everyone being a bit more scared to touch them now. Them all acting more carefully. Deku just saying that that's about good. Now, I'm quite aware of all your quirks. As Deku goes over all of them. Wolf, invisibility, everyone being a bit confused. Looking up to see Toru. She's, not in makeup. Everyone a bit confused by that. Her just walking down the staircase. Saying that she's sorry they had to find out about this like that. Find out about her like this, but, she's not actually quirkless. I'm sorry, guys. Everyone being a bit more surprised. So, how did you do that? Makeup. Everyone, shaking it off. She sort of just lied about her appearance, but not the way they thought about it. They knew she wore a ton of makeup, but it explains why at least. Now, wolf invisibility, blood something, bendy fingers or elongation, a fire quirk, I want to say a Beastman style quirk, but I'm trying to think of a good one. Ooh, a cutting quirk. You can cut things in half at the molecular level. I think that's someone from 1B. Let's say the girl from 1B is in here too. So that's about 6. Hang on. Alright, so I just tried to think about more quirks, but I am drawing a blank. So I'm going to say that these other 2 are just quirkless. Now, I'm sorry to do this again, but I'm going to end the episode here. It is very late, and if I go into a whole action-packed sequence, I'm going to wake someone up. I'm sorry, guys. I do hope you understand, however. So, I'm going to at least get this edited together, and yes, I straight up just said we have Toru, then for the shits and giggles, I just brought in Toga. Because everyone expected this, visible girl, or blonde girl, to be one of the 2. So, I thought, hey, what did Toga do before the League of Villains? Something probably. At least one of her friends probably knew something about hacking, or she could at least know someone who did so before she threw off all her connections to someone. Or at least ran away and joined the League. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave this here. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.